There you go.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. Let's see if we get something accomplished here today. All right. Paul. Then Lefty here. Bob Underhill here. Michelle Jackson.
Here.
Dave Cox. Here. Christine Johnson. Okay. All right, is there any conflict of interest? But no. Okay. All right, is there any public comment before we get started, Dave or Deanne? Anything you'd like to share first?
Is there any reason why there's no agenda for this meeting?
Well, there's only really one topic on the agenda, and that is to discuss and prepare the budget. That's how the meeting was posted. That's really the only thing on the topic today. It is a special meeting.
Thank you. I did not know that.
D, nothing?
No, I'll hold it.
Okay. All right, well, that brings us to item 6, discussion and preparation of the budget. Pretty sure you guys have caught wind of Plant Moran working with us, helping to get this established. I know our numbers have been quite confusing lately because of the reconciliation. We still have a few line items under departments that are not fully reconciled from my understanding, but our departments are have been all brought down to the bottom line. What we have here in front of us is a draft that Plant Moran and Carolyn Lorenz has been working with me and Michelle periodically. This is more or less the result of about a 2-hour team meeting that we had to, get something workable here. Chance to look this over. If you have any questions or anything like that, you might want to bring up something about postage. It was
Yes, so I did have a question on postage because I'm just curious why it is all under treasurer and KCI increase postage.
if you look right on the first page there, it does have postage under Township Board, Department 101.
And it says 0. Under the image of it.
Yes.
You said that it.
Well, it says 2,000. $2,000 it says on that.
That's for KCI or all in general?
Oh, okay, we're looking over here. This is the proposed.
This is this is where we are at right now. This is our amended budget and what we're actually.
So we're working off of this proposed.
This is our Yes,
column 3. When I
yes,
send this to you.
yes.
My only question would be, if you don't mind, is how much is under that for postage?
I'm showing the current breakdown and the amended puts $3,000 under the treasurers, but Casey's the postage is included in that. So I don't know why exactly it would be under the treasurer. And but we can hear with the breakdown, ask that question, so.
Yeah, I would think KCI should be broke down by printing and postage, or services and postage, if you wanted to know exactly how much postage was.
Okay, where did you say KCI was?
So if you look under the breakdown for.
For the treasurer?
Yep, in the amended report. So we have printing and publishing, $2,000. And then we're showing postage of $3,000. Our postage is included with KCI and would not be an additional amount.
Okay.
So if they're stating here that this is what is put out, that would actually be adjusted by roughly $500 because we did get a refund from KCCI that was deposited in February. So my question is, why is the postage being lumped under the treasurer?
Okay. All right. You notice on here, there's a column to the right there where it says supervisor and board review. This where we're
Gonna get those are go.
yeah, we'll get
They're definitely curious why the postage would go to us. That is all, because our postage, the only thing that we would be sending out as far as tax bills is included with our printing and publishing. And like I said, we did receive a refund from them about $485 that was deposited in February. So it would be less than the 20. And without,
the total KCI cost was.
we do not without Christine.
I have October's bill in front of me, and the postage alone was $1,486.06. The total bill was $2,352.80 just for October.
So there was
Which,
probably summer then.
yeah, because we send out the same amount of stuff, so I would guesstimate. I could probably look it up, but I'm on my phone, so.
So if we added the printing and publishing and the 3,000 for postage, that's right about what the cost was for KCI, which would have included the postage, but it's kind of broke out here separately. KCI.
Yeah, the printing for that bill, the printing was $866.74. The printing and processing the mail, the two-sided color or whatever, that was all included. So the bulletin that was sent out, that should all be within that. Well, that was the estimate. Shoot. Nope. I don't see that as being. This may not be the final bill because I don't see the print on that, the bulletin print, tax bill set up and process mail. So.
Because I think that we have paid our final bill because we did get a refund from KCI of $400.
Yeah, you said it was paid in January. It was, so that was paid, but this is the one I have is off my email. I'm not sure that was the final bill. So.
Just need to get a breakdown. just so that we have the accurate numbers. I just want to make sure that what we're paying in postage is actually postage that we utilize, and then we have with KCI, have it broken down with printing, publishing, and the postage for mailing out taxes, because that piece of the puzzle should be covered in our admin fee.
Yeah, I think it's just broken out separately, which we can,
I mean, they're just questions.
yeah,
They're not.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
have
I
it
think
broke out for assessor too?
I'm sorry.
That'll tell you whether it's broke out right, because if the assessor has postage and
They're showing postage of $1,472 roughly.
okay.
sorry, we're just trying to turn the volume down on the owl there because it's screaming.
Okay.
Okay, there was pull it up and read it here. There was a letter that accompanied this with the plant plan. Okay, I'm going to quickly read this. This is from the plant ran lady Carolyn that was working with me on this. I'm sending you over a draft budget report in both Excel and PDF formats. Please keep in mind that this version reflects the preliminary amounts that we've entered to date. I have not yet received information from the fire department, so the figures included in this draft will likely change. However, this should be a solid starting point for your initial discussions. He encourages us to not change the numbers that are existing here, and if we did want to make adjustments, to use the supervisor column there, and then we'll straighten it out. And what line item? I'm sorry. What line item?
He's talking in general.
Yeah, I was just reading the letter that came from Carol.
So plan saying it's a proposed budget and not to change anything in the second column. If we question anything or want to make amendments, it'll go under the supervisor's column, and then Jim will circle back to Plant Moran and they will go over.
That's correct. Just to wrap the postage thing up here, I think the township board postage on the first one is probably for like the office and other things other than taxes. So that's probably why it has separately itemized there. Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Well, Jim, that also includes anybody that just uses that postage machine, which we do as well when we're sending out new bills or, yeah.
Y'all have correspondence, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And just one other thing, what might not show up in there. So when we have NSF checks, are we sending those notifications certified? So those would be a little bit more costly when taxpayers pay with non-sufficient funds.
Yes, it is. And those would be covered under the fee that I send out. But yes, those would be under the treasurer's postage. So that should be under that 3,000 or whatever it was.
And right now we have a number that we have received that with NSF, correct? So we will have certified letters that will be
Yeah, we
within-
send that. Yeah.
okay, this current budget that we'll do. Okay.
Michelle, when you talk, for some reason you sound like you're underwater. It cuts out. Jim, we can hear good, and of course Bobby and Dave, we haven't heard at all. But it sounds like Michelle's underwater, so I don't know if it's the owl and how it's pointing.
I wish I was underwater, an ocean.
I heard that just clearly.
There we go.
Okay, just looking ahead here a little bit, under the assessor, Department 257, it also has postage listed for her of 1,500. I'm assuming that's for the appraisals or not appraisals. The assessments, yeah, yes. So just wanted to point this.
And that makes sense because it'd be around the same as ours because the same amount of parcels.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm wondering if they took that, then they just automatically doubled it for summer taxes.
Yep.
And just put.
Yeah. Yep.
And I would assume is being done, but with that being said, 2 sets of notices during this budget went out under the assessor's office for assessment. So we just received one, which is in this budget year, and then we also received one in the summer. So theirs would actually be 2 times. So that'll be something we'll need to get clarification from Plant Moran, because Carolyn's probably like, oh, they send out taxes twice a year. So it would be this times 2. But the assessor's office also sent out to the same number of parcels twice assessment letters. So we'll
Wouldn't the assessor be responsible for her budget, telling you what she needs?
yes. We should get that information, because if we're paying for postage, we have 2 letters of assessment that went out. So our postage should be equivalent to that of the assessors, except for, like I said, NSF that we didn't account for, that costs a little bit more, and then just general mailings, which should probably go under the township office budget, which would not be a lot of money, I mean.
Well, and the non-sufficient stuff, though, like I said, we send out those certified mail, but we get $30 fee, and the second time around, it's like it's doubled if we have to send it out again. So we're covered well for those.
Yeah, I think we're covered well as far as through our admin fee for any of those. So I think the only thing that we had that come up in the treasurer's office was in the beginning of tax time is we had to replace a laptop. So, and then we repaired the other one, but we couldn't get the repairs done during tax time. So that was one thing that we did not budget for in this budget that we would have to amend for. Because that was just unforeseen happening. You can't just go, oh, we're not going to collect taxes anymore until my computer's fixed. So.
Okay.
And did you want to circle back so we could go over, I know there were some questions about, where'd my second go? There were some questions about when the last disbursement for property taxes. So I spoke to Dee earlier, and she can clarify that the last disbursement is March 15th, and it's after we settle with the county.
But currently, last time I talked to her, and I don't know if anything's changed with that, we still have the like 466,000 in the tax fund.
No, well, I mean, I don't know what it's at right now. It's I just did a disbursement. So whenever those people cash those checks. But the last disbursement isn't going to be, you'll get your last check, which is a disbursement from the county paying us. It'll be sometime in April or May. I think it has to be by the end of April. There's a date on it, but
Isn't
yeah,
20
whatever's in the tax bank account, it just fluctuates based on when people deposit or, deposit their checks they gave us. So that's not anything we can control.
So the most recent one I'm showing we dispersed was February 19th.
so
Correct.
there's still a bunch of money.
Yep.
So there is
not a
money
lot.
that was deposited on the 19th that would have come from tax disbursements to roads, parks and rec, general fund. So those monies have been dispersed. So the one I have is from the 19th. And it's roughly a little over $200,000. Does that sound about right, Dee?
Yeah, I think what Jim is getting at is how much money's in the tax bank account, right?
Yes. At the last treasury report we got, which would have been about, I think the 19th was our meeting. 19th. There was on your sheet 466,000.
You guys cut out, I cut out. Jim, am I correct in assuming that what you're talking about is just the balance in the checking account?
Yeah.
In the tax account, yes.
Yeah, okay. I think I know what you're concerned about how much is in there.
That because some of these totals, we have beginning balances, and if that money hasn't been dispersed yet, our beginning balances are incorrect.
Beginning balances in what? In the report you have in front of you?
In the proposed budget from plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't attest that. I can't look at it right now, but so you're talking about like the beginning budget in the road fund?
Well, that's one of them.
Yeah,
okay. So yeah, and the income for that is the tax disbursement, which your beginning budget for the road fund doesn't start until the end of March. And by then you should have the monies in there or the middle of April, depending on when the county comes around. They have to do it within 30 days or something. So that beginning money is based off of what would be collected for the taxes in 2025. So that is correct. That should be the correct amount. Physically, whether you have that in there or not, depends on when the county settles. Does that make sense?
Just because I'm involved with it, and I know last year we didn't get it till later from the county. It's obviously the transition with new treasurers from both the township and the county. Those were delayed last year from the actual county first sending to the townships across the board. Is that
yeah, it won't. Yeah.
I just wanted to verify that our starting numbers are actually our starting numbers,
Chris, Carolyn asked me what for the L 1049 or whatever it's called, which would be the amounts that you guys were getting. So those numbers should be correct.
Okay.
From the L, what is it, the L 1029 or 1040?
1049. I believe it's 1049. I get that first number mixed up. She asked me for, now that would be the 2025. So that gives you the amounts that you were going to get from your millages and how much money that we were collecting. So that starting number should be off of that sheet stating how much money we were collecting. It doesn't matter when I collect it or if the county ends up collecting it or whatever, that is the amount that should be collected.
That L 1049, that should be something that goes to the supervisor, correct? The supervisor?
It goes to the clerk, but she generally gives me.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, the clerk and the supervisor. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Did you get those already, the L 1049?
Got it, yeah.
Okay.
She's going off the ones from July.
Yes.
So I have a copy of those.
But we don't have the ones from the winter taxes, and we haven't settled with
They're all the same.
So, okay.
There's only. There's only one.
We should have the accurate numbers for the
Yeah.
winter.
No, it's all in.
It's all in the one that was sent
Yes.
out in July. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have that one, Jim?
Don't think I do.
Okay, and that would come from the clerk, and then she should pass it off to Jim, so Jim has it
Well,
for his, but
Yeah, but I have the final copy. The assessor signs it. So Jim, if you want it, I'll if you could
Yeah.
text me, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
give you a picture of what the starting numbers are.
Mhm.
Perfect. So, and then I had one other question, might as well just get my question.
Okay. Sure.
So the other one, and you and I touched base on this, and I'll confirm with Dee. So if we had talked in our board meetings, in our general meetings, about separating what we collect from Northwest ISD from the public schools. So I just want to reiterate how that would work, because when I told you, I thought it would be a wash, but so we would, because Northwest ISD pays the public school 10% of what they pay us, so roughly $8. So if we charged Northwest ISD less the 10%, so we took off 10% from the school, would be roughly $2.70 per parcel, and then went to Northwest ISD and charged them the same amount with the schools, then we would see potentially, more generation of revenue for collecting those taxes, but we are also risking Northwest ISD going, yeah, I'm not paying $2.70 a parcel. And then we're actually losing revenue with the school because we're giving them a 10% discount. So just to bear that in mind, we have the potential, but we're gonna have to dig deeper and get some commitments from Northwest ISD and where we stand with the school before we start.
So it may be better to leave as is.
It may, for now, I would use what we have as is, and then we're gonna have to do some soul searching with Northwest ISD to, if they would commit. If they would commit, then I don't have an issue. But if they're not gonna commit, then we are gonna lose roughly 45 cents per parcel, and then we'll be taking in less revenue.
Right.
So I just wanted to put that out there, and Dee, you can elaborate or piggyback off that. Is that pretty much what you and I were discussing? If you can hear me outside my ocean bubble.
In a nutshell, yeah, that's right. But I don't think we should wait. I don't think. I mean, and we don't have to lower Kalkaska's. I mean, it was kind of a, like a mercy, whatever. We can still charge them. I think it's $3.15 a parcel, if I remember right. I can't remember. And I'm in my truck, so I can't look it up. But I mean,
propose the same amount to Northwest ISD?
Well, I mean, we could. I mean, you guys could do it however you want. I think there is, and I'm still waiting on the attorney, yay. But I think that there is a cap that we can charge per entity. So, I have to make sure we're not over that cap. I don't know if everybody knew that there was a cap or not. I haven't checked into that. But I don't think that we should continue to let ISD piggyback off of, Kalkaska. I feel like that has been ripping us off for years. So, and once we do it, there's going to be many other townships that are going to follow suit, because I don't think they realized it either. So, I think ISD wants their money in the summer. I don't know. I think we should do it. I don't think we should wait.
So there is the potential that if we go ahead in our next general board meeting or in a special meeting, just go ahead and approve that, present it to Northwest ISD, so that is potential revenue, but we're not losing any revenue from Kalkaska, even though they may match us and want us to renegotiate because they're losing the 10% from Northwest ISD.
So yeah, it's about $900 that, if we went ahead and just took the 10% off of Kalkaska, we would lose about $900 out of 9,000, that we
Okay,
charge them. So yeah, I mean, it warrants thought.
so we have a potential $900 loss, but then we have a potential $9,000 gain.
Well, $8,100 gain, or it depends. Yeah, pretty much,
Okay.
because
Okay,
that's
just,
what we would be charging. Go ahead.
just to verify this, we're talking about admin fees on the first page, about an inch down from the very top. Is that where that one is?
I don't have it in front of me. Admin fees would be the income from taxes, and yes, it would go into the general fund. How much is the admin fees estimated at?
61,402.
Those admin fees, well, it would be under the same thing, but those
That's
also,
collectively for everything.
yes, those also are the 1% admin fee that we collect from collecting
Right.
taxes in general. So yes.
Right.
So is that separate than what we're collecting from the school?
No.
You'll have to look down and see if they separated it anywhere.
Yeah, it's all combined.
Is it we're
Okay.
collecting from the school $9,000 annually, then 6142 doesn't cut the mustard. The math doesn't math.
What do you mean?
Well, if they're stating in this budget that $61,402.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for all of our admin.
Forgot a zero. So we have the potential of increasing just that one item of revenue by roughly $8,100. So that would put us at almost 70,000 in admin fees. And then we have some other avenues that we're looking at that doesn't have to do with us collecting taxes for revenue that are separate from us. Okay. Perfect.
And I will add, if you don't mind, that Elk Rapids does not pay us to collect taxes in the summer because we only have 100 parcels, but they may be open to it if we lower the rate. They stopped doing it when it went up to what it is now. So if they do, then that would be an additional, but not much. So whatever.
So we propose being at $2.70, right, per parcel. That's still
$300.
$300.
Yeah, and if I don't, it's not too, because I just use 300 as an example. I think it's 315. Somebody's gonna have to tell me, but so we would reduce that by 10%.
Okay.
Just to be on the record correctly.
Okay. Just get a number out there. So that is potential revenue. We go back and we propose to Elk Rapids schools that we can provide them rate less that 10%. Northwest ISD, we put it roughly at $2.70 times roughly 100 parcels, so $270, give or take, because 30% of 315 is on this.
You and D are going to continue to work on that.
Yes, we'll work on that piece of the puzzle. Because I mean, the admin fee should at least cover KCI,
sure,
the publishing, the printing, D doing the taxes. It should at least cover anything that has to do with tax related, and then whatever overflow goes into
potentially a portion of our new software to keep it all
well, unfortunately it doesn't cover the assessor portion of it. I mean, that's when it goes over. So
yeah, when it goes over the admin fee. And honestly, this budget, 2 assessments. So 2 assessment notices went out, 2 reassessments have gone.
And the assessor salary and contract. So there's also that.
Yes, so that, obviously, some of the admin fee would go towards that, but it would not in full, pay for our assessor.
And let me just add that taxes create a revenue. I'll just end with that.
Yes, they do. With other things that we do as a township, not specifically the treasurer, does not generate revenue. So for an example, our elections that we do not generate revenue. Our elections do not.
Right.
We pay, and there is some offset. For
That still
these
costs
elections. It still costs the township money, but it's monies that I guess you would say is part of doing business, right? So you have to provide elections to people in the township, but at no time should we use that as revenue. Maybe reimbursement if we're reimbursed by the county. That would be just offsetting whatever we have spent, and probably not in entirety because we pay obviously the people who run the live elections and any of the preparation for the elections and any of the checking to make sure the tabulators work. We go in and certify that they're functioning properly. Yeah, all cost money, but it's cost to do business.
All right, any other observations or sticking points? Yes, sir.
Page four.
Okay.
We budgeted $20,000.
29,000.
No. The proposed amount was 30, and during our discussion, he arrived at 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still 29.
Mm-hmm. The actual was 26. I said the actual was 26.
Yeah. It should be paid. It should. When the clerk and the treasurer are writing checks and look at the time sheets and just paying money out, there is a budget.
Mm-hmm.
The budget is $20,000,
Mm-hmm.
which comes up to $381 some change per week. If we look at it. And even out of that 20, if 20 is not the goal. The goal is to use the people if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my observations of the weekly zoning report and the lack of work for minutes, things of that nature.
Well,
It does not justify.
okay.
It does not justify the timesheets and what he is being paid. Also, I did make a point about timesheets. Time ago, about a year ago. And I had an example of what that should be. And that way of supporting this to get an idea of what our zoning administrator is doing, what he's doing this work.
Mm-hmm.
And none of you supported me. If there's time sheets, it's pretty much chicken scratch, and it's just the same thing, blah, 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 2 hours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
20 hours and 21 minutes an hour. And 100, okay. So that right there is $115 per week. What's budgeted?
Well, I see our amended budget here is 29. Yeah. Well,
Really?
mm-hmm.
So another number is bad, and then she got it out voting. So then we most certainly won't know anything. I mean,
Well,
For them, especially when you look at Idaho and Adam Park and other people that did that part, that duty, it was serving the public and trying to utilize the least amount of money to get the job done, which is what we need to do here. This isn't about us. This isn't about putting ourselves before the people. This is about using the money as effectively as possible. We need to be working toward the balanced budget. We need to be working towards a surplus. And if we have this type of out of control spending and budgeting going on, we will never get there. And it's a total misuse of the people's money. And it reflects very poorly on this board.
Are you through?
Well,
Wait a second. Okay, well, you can research that. Okay.
So just to be clear, we should not be comparing the current zoning administrator to anything that the prior administrators have done, because there were also issues with prior zoning administrators when it came to taxpayer money. So first and foremost, we should not be comparing the job that John West was hired to do in comparison to people who did that job in the past. Just being said, I don't care who it is, what name you put on that person, we should not be comparing them to who did these in the past. Those people are past board members, they ran for office and they ran as trustees and they were turned down by the public. And Adam Parzicki mentioned him. He came in, he interviewed for the same exact job as John West had interviewed for and another candidate. And the prior hired John West. So for him to be able to go out and generate revenue, he can't just drive around and go, oh, well, this person, I'm going to give him a ticket. He needs to get complaints from people in the community that he goes in and he investigates so that he is not, as a township representative, creating a liability for us by people saying he's a predator, he comes through and he picks and chooses who he's going to ticket and we get fines, and then the township is liable for defending that, whether you shake your head or not. People have to complain and he goes and investigates the complaint, just like we are working on the one on Circle, and there's a list of ones that we're working on. I mean, but for me, comparing him to what people did in the past, those other people came with baggage too. And I think that we probably should just leave it to focusing on the job that the individual is doing now.
What about that?
Let me just say something, okay? You've spoken quite a bit here, okay? Let me speak for just a minute. I work every day with John West in that office. He's working continuously. He's got a stack of stuff that he's working. There's no comparison to him and Adam Parzicki. Adam Parzicki would write in 100 home visits and not a single address or anything would be listed. He was fudging all kinds of paperwork. I brought that paperwork in when he interviewed for the zoning administrator job, and I proved, I'm talking, please. He literally, I'll say this, okay? He put down on there impossible things to do. Like, for example, like I said, 100 home visits. I literally saw paperwork where he was, lied on the paperwork, okay? I challenge you to find anywhere on John West paperwork where he's lying. And I support him completely in the job that he's doing right now.
His paperwork is what you said, right?
I haven't seen John West's paperwork that you're talking about. Everything I see is completed and
His first zoning job less than half. Let's go.
You say the job's done, look around, where is there been any zone? That's right, and you're wrong, you're not paying attention. I'm sorry, you're not, because we have,
To provide a timesheet, the way I have it, that lists out the work that he did that day, that week, that we can look at, that I can look at to justify what he's charging.
we set his salary.
At 20,000, I think we want to do for this, it was at 20, and now it's amended, you're saying? When did that get amended?
I don't recall the exact date that we voted on it, but we did make some changes on it.
It's probably
So if we're comparing actual 23-24 zoning contract was 49,000.
And that was under the lady.
Yes. Lisa Lady.
Okay, so that's the ordinance to the ordinance. You want to compare?
Well, I don't want to compare that. I want to.
Well, yes.
It comes from this
We
section.
can only compare Adams.
Rockandella comes out, are now serving there in Vicksburg and reaching that community.
I don't know who that is. Yep,
Okay,
So here, February 12th.
that was back. So it's,
but how did it get to where it is now?
So the budget right here, but when you
What the BSA is wrong, information from the BSA is wrong. We set the budget at the budget meeting for zoning administrator at $20,000.
this is zoning wages,
Because that, no, wait a minute.
hey, it's right here, zoning wages are 22.5 here, then our
No, that's not true. And so that's not the reference to go to, so that's one of those.
Prior budget. The scrap sheet that we did based off some PDF. You have a copy of it right now available that we can look at. And we did amend that chicken scratch PDF budget.
okay, here it is exactly, all right. And this 29,000 is combined zoning, planning, and ZBA wages. The zoning is 20, planning is 6,500, and ZBA is 2,500. You add them together, you get 29,000.
They're all under zone.
That's correct.
Okay.
That doesn't state that John West wages are 20.
Now. Which each department,
Well, that would come from the, she does the payroll. And she's not here.
working here, and that.
So we're at $26,076. That's what it says. That's the amendment. That's where we're at. The activity for 25, 26. We're currently at 26,076. There'll be one more paycheck before the end of this budget.
So. This still needs to be, we still need to get this resolved, because based on this, I did not know. Planning was combined with zoning.
Yep, we have quite a few of that kind of stuff going on where the new BSNA are a little bit worded different. Some of the accounts are combined. We went from QuickBooks to BSNA, and not all of the same line items were created. When Plant Moran readjusted it, they went to, that's why some of our numbers are off, because different things were combined into things. For example, the zoning, ZBA, and planning were all put together under zoning.
Something in BSA that's a 3D5. Okay, so, you know, and that seems to be specific to zoning.
Well,
So-
actually, if you look at the amended budget, you can look at elections, and that's actually amended now to include a negative amount of 22 $22,400, which is the cost of doing elections and salary and wages for people who work elections. And I'm assuming that would include our election assistant at $23 an hour as well, that we approved for $10 per week. So if you look at the amendment for our elections, that is a deficit of $22,400. When we're looking at payroll, $10,000. I mean, we approved it at our last meeting. We approved having an election assistant at $23 an hour, 10 hours a week. But then now in elections, we have a deficit of $22,400 proposed for the private budget. I mean, if we want to compare apples to apples, that's a lot of money.
I understand. And then we will some apology for understanding this system here, which is ridiculous. But until everything is finalized, I'm not gonna think that. I want to see before. I want to see how this is going down. We're not going to do it at this meeting, but obviously this is already coming out.
We're have to have some,
But this needs to be done. So that planning, and it's being building, it's only being paid. And it can't just be all like this group together.
we're doing the budget, we're not doing every single line item budget. This is the
I need to.
department cost budget.
Cost and it's paid exactly. And you can't vote.
Jim, I have a question too. Are we going to be discussing the amount of money that people are making? Because we're gonna have to look at the elections. If we're paying somebody for 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week at $23 an hour, did we approve that payroll amount to be paid?
I would say we did.
Because I don't think it was spelled out. Yeah, I don't think it wasn't spelled. So we have a deputy that gets $20 an hour for the clerk, but then we have an election assistant that gets $23 an hour, up to 10 hours a week. So I think we are gonna have to address what
You never voted or approved the salary for the election assistant to be $23 an hour and the deputy to be 20. It never was asked or approved.
Speaking for Christine, they're saying, we backed up. And goes up to her budget, and just like the treasurer, yeah, the deputy treasurer. Under her. To the business. It's the same work. And the deputy clerk and the election.
Right, well, we've never had an election system before, so again, I mean, if you look at statewide, people are working in the state of Michigan as election assistants. The pay rate is roughly between $14 per hour on the low end, $18 per hour on the high. So again, when we get into what people are earning, we're gonna have to address that because elections do not generate revenue. We do not earn money by having elections. So that's something we're gonna have to discuss.
Yes. We did that. We it was.
Belinda,
Sylvia?
Jules. Jules was an election assistant
She worked in Washington. She was the assistant.
and she made $23 an hour as an election assistant. MCL gives a breakdown of roughly what those people make on a low end and a high. Low end was $14 an hour, high end was $18 an hour. And I do sign checks for people who do work in the elections, and I want to say the average is about $70, $71.
Yeah, I was an election assistant for many years, and that's what I got, was about 50 to 70 bucks for an election.
Yes,
Now, there are different levels of election assistance.
for training
Mhm.
purpose.
And as my understanding, she's training Jenny Cornea, our deputy clerk. And so that, until she can have one,
Mhm.
and this, midterms coming up, will be training and staying on her for that.
Like I said, it's a cost. We're gonna have to look at it. Because I think it's rather justified and improved.
So.
And I don't. Just, and the deputies across the board right now are being paid $23. And Jenny, I think, is at $20 an hour. And I'm assuming she gets $20 an hour because she's in training. I think we're gonna have to definitely talk about what people that are employees of the township are making. So thank you for bringing up zoning.
Well, I'm another note on something here. The residents were complaining.
Mhm.
It says that Jonathan is a zoning administrator, he's not an enforcement officer.
Okay,
Okay, so, I mean, up until that time, I believe people who myself were expressing that he was doing all. So who understands the essence of them, straight enforcement officer,
he is enforcing our zoning.
but you. If you're not an enforcement officer. So.
He's a zoning
Well, if he-
administrator. If it relates to zoning, he is performing those duties.
We hire an enforcement officer, or he acts as an enforcement officer, then he would be paid more money than what he's making as a zoning administrator, because he would be doing additional duties than what he was hired to do, and what was on the duties not approved by this board, but approved by the prior board. They gave us the description of what he was going to be doing. So if that's an addition to what they hired him to do, then he would be compensated for doing it.
Public director, understanding that what he is getting paid is. So.
Do you have a copy of that what they hired him to do? Do you have a copy of its job description that he was hired to do in the prior board? Hired him. I mean, they hired him. We didn't hire him. We weren't involved in that piece of the puzzle. Did it include that he was zoning and that he was some kind of enforcement officer?
Just because hired by doesn't mean he do what he gets paid and what he does.
But they gave him a job description of what he would be doing for the amount of money that he was being compensated. So if this board was adding additional duties to him, we would be required by law with the state of Michigan to compensate him, because it's not what he agreed to when he was hired.
It's a description that he was hired. She deserved that to it, but if what he was hired to do is not, it doesn't mean that whatever else we have to do is it goes on top of it. Okay, so he has to meet a certain, I mean, if there's something nobody finds for permits, we're not just paying him for minutes in the office to read stuff, to research for 20 hours a week, right? And then if he does all of the duties, you don't add, oh, we gotta pay him more.
Yes.
You have to pay him.
MCL 41.96 Township Officers Compensation Act requires that they're paid if they're doing extra services. They are compensated.
If his job description and his time sheet, is what he's doing. Is eating, what he's getting paid. So it's not.
If him, he is compensated.
It is not.
State law. He is compensated if we add additional duties. Nobody was hired. So you're saying that the state of Michigan, you're gonna buck what they do, so that we pay fines to the state of Michigan for not adhering to employment laws.
As the job description.
Okay. Right.
The state law thing.
It's a state law.
I know.
It's an MCM. Two townships.
Yes, you do. So,
We'll repeat it, don't be over and forget it.
Don't say over and over again what you're saying. He's not doing the job that we hired him to do. If you don't even have a copy of the job description that the prior board told him would be his duties and that he was being hired for.
We need a completely that lists what he did. We can justify if he's charging 20 hours to me, 10 hours to work.
not the case.
But if it is the case, he would agree to do it, and he would want to do it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, when you say, is he an enforcement officer, what, he's enforcing our zoning laws, what other additional enforcement duties are you suggesting? He's writing tickets, he's meeting with people, he's, following up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that meeting, you said.
Okay, but I'm asking you, what is the enforcement that he's not doing that you're claiming?
It's zoning and or enforcement. When you look at what he turned in for his monthly, there's no way
You don't,
we can, there could be somebody out there that can do that for much less.
I don't think
This
so.
is not about getting as much money as he can. And I believe he is overcharging for what he does.
That's your
Okay,
belief.
He's a zoning administrator, not enforcement. So you can answer your own question.
When I'm speaking enforcement officer, okay, I'm thinking he's not pulling people over, he's not,
Complaining.
okay. So he wrote tickets there, warnings, and he's had verbal contacts with them several times. What is he enforced?
Come to that property there, and that is who owns the person that lives there may not own it and may not be financially responsible to pay for those tickets. It would be the homeowner.
Like an enforcement officer, some people on the circle. Okay, so that, and what you would not say, you're not pulling people over for speeding or anything. That's.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying, that he's not doing an enforcement job, because what else is there to do besides go and write tickets to people that are not doing what they're supposed to do zoning wise?
I will get what I propose to the board for that we table that never got back to. Or we purposely didn't forward. I will get that out. Because right now it seems like you just want to rubber stamp whatever he does and whatever time she.
I work with the man every day, I know what he does.
Yes.
That's him up, yeah. Like you have multiple times to him in this very room. So you think we don't have this much money to spend on zoning, is what you're saying?
or different the job we was hired to do.
It's about the time sheet. And why it seems like the three of you are fine with the current system.
Well,
I think he's doing a great job.
when all of these policies and procedures and handbooks are gonna be handled in phase 3 with Plant Marine, so I think we're kind of getting the horse before the cart. Yes. Timesheet is through the payroll system.
He's doing. The job.
I work with
To see what he's charging for, and so do the people. We need to be transparent to the people. I wanna see a time sheet, I wanna know what he does. And if it's worth what we're paying, I don't have that. And the people don't have that. We just can't vote each other, you know, for to pay each other and turn in time sheets and have it not accounted for. Sure.
As
It can't be
election
and not be.
Mhm.
on department submits.
Submissions. But until I see this.
Well, we're not doing line items in the budget. This is our forecast for the whole year by department. Okay,
But I need to know if you're saying $23,000. And what do you pay for?
ZBA,
EPA?
that was combined and BSA put it all under 101702. That's just it. It's not line item. It's salaries and wages is 29 is the forecast. Okay, that includes ZBA, planning and zoning.
Okay, so I think about this, I'm gonna turn the page at the bottom of something.
Okay.
But nowhere does it say EPA.
No, because
Well-
it's listed.
Included in the first.
See, first.
Same thing in elections. If you look at elections, the salaries and wages are all something together. It's all
That's
combined.
Where I know what you're voting for, because if there's some, it's gonna be budgeted. The individual department. I don't, oh, yes, if it's all included. It's big. You had over the amount of budget that is part of.
I believe, and I'm not sure if it's at this specific meeting, but during our budget meeting, I believe that we address pay, and I don't think anything has changed for anybody other than, you know, the new clerk is not making the amount of money that the clerk makes. And now we have an election assistant that makes more money than the clerk. So I think those are the only two new wages, because I think everybody else was comfortable with leaving their wages wherever it was at. So I think job description showing what our zoning administrator was hired to do for a specific amount of time is probably quite adequate for me. Because if there's added duties to what he's doing, he should be compensated for it.
Point there though, he thinks we should have a payroll service. Because here we have BSNA. And we pay on for it. And it appears that having it and not use it is producing things like this. Whereas if we have something that's going to use it, that we can pay and we're a big company. I imagine if we get a payroll service. That's going to use BSNA. They can do it so that we can, everything is itemized out.
If we have a payroll service, taxpayers don't have to pay $40,000 in fines, fees, and penalties and back taxes. Which is what we're on the hook for right now. And if people were in on the meetings and come to general sits and pay attention, we owe money to the IRS in the tune of $40,000 because mistakes have been made on payroll.
Sure, we're doing it right because we have the money allocated and we're not over budget and overspending.
We should have a company that knows how to do what is required of them with the state government and the federal government to be able to pay taxes so that the townships taxpayers are not liable to pay penalties and fines. That is a goal. So as far as zoning, let's look at what when he was hired, let's look at what the duties that he was proposed to do and the amount of pay. So if we're asking him to do more, he should be compensated for.
I disagree with that. Yeah, about to say, all those employees, they have to turn in sheets. So we can evaluate as to what they're charging for.
So just out of curiosity, does John get paid mileage when he's using his own truck to drive around?
When our board first took over, he submitted one mileage sheet, but hang on a second, okay. He has occasionally used his own truck. However, okay, we suggested that he use the Dodge, the second truck that we have. So he has ceased and he is no longer using that at all. Yes. And I would just point out, I'm fairly confident this, he turned in one mileage slip since this has been our board.
Since he's been in,
Yes.
since he's been.
Yes, and I would also add. Yes. I would also add, I don't believe anybody, including myself, has ever turned in a mileage sheet. You have? Okay. Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah. And, okay, I was unaware of that, but I don't know of anybody else in the township that's submitting any mileage.
The first 3 months that I was treasurer.
You know, I could probably clean up on that if I decided to do that with different things on you. Yes.
Jim,
Yes, ma'am.
since there's a little break, let me just say the audio stinks completely. And what it's recording, you can't hear anything Dave is accusing John of or saying, I'm sorry. And Michelle goes in and out too, like she's underwater. So the recording of this isn't going to be good either.
Well, I do have it also additionally being recorded on a phone, so I wanted to make sure that I have a backup for the sound. I don't know why that
Microphones.
is.
We need microphones. Can you budget that? Can you put that in the budget somewhere?
Well, the owl is a microphone.
Yeah, but it's not working because what it's doing is when you're saying something, you're the main person right in front of it. And then if Michelle says something, there's like a drag. And so it's merging the two of you. And, you know, it's only catching the one closest to it. So I'm just stating it.
Yep, I see on here. Just check the chats. Yes, sound is terrible.
No, it should be amended. All of her wages are covered by admin fees for taxes that she has collected. End of story. Her wages are covered. The only other wages that she would be paid would be work out of cemetery and admin for doing anything that had to do with the website or any admin fee. So I just want to clarify, I've heard you loud and clear going after D. I've heard you loud and clear going after John. And I could only suggest when we start talking about approving paychecks, that's where you can come in and you can bring your disgruntled remarks, because yes, they are extremely disgruntled. It is so obvious and apparent, and
people, nasty emails, and that I'm going to the see of we after people in charge, and she even admitted in the meeting here that she does personal tactics, emails, phone calls while she is charged in the township, and I would also be big. Monthly, that when she's doing these emails, spending all this time and they're so long. It's like a bully tactic that she's also doing.
that's the long insinuation. Accuse yourself from anything that has to do with the clerk's office to begin with. And you should not be taking emails from the clerk, deputy clerk, election assistant, and using them as tactics against the deputy treasurer. And you have a lot more. And you stood up in this building and you got in the face of our zoning administrator. Actions speak a lot louder than anything else. Oh, I'm sure. You mess with me, you will be picking up hot bottles for a haircut. But because I will pay last dime for defamation.
For devastation.
Yes, sir.
It seems like you and your deputy can do that, but you can't take it.
No, I
Get back to the budget. Can we get back to the budget here? This is why we're here.
Yeah,
Budget.
but part of the budget is what the deputy treasurer is charging the people. People need to know what she's doing. And those emails are perfect.
Do you know how to do that? Did you FOIA emails? Did you FOIA emails? Did you FOIA request? You have to FOIA emails if they have to do with something that you were not in on the email. And if we're going to emails,
Get back to the budget.
Can
Can we get to the budget?
Yeah.
This is what the budget was, or this meeting was scheduled for. It's budget. I don't think these personal attacks going back and forth here are part of the budget. I really don't think so.
They are.
We have a deputy here who is charging the people for emails. And I think the people in transparency should know what's going on between meetings. They have a right to know how the people's money is being used. That's how Dee shall use that money.
And they also, the treasurer's office is one of the only departments that generate revenue, including D with her taxes. Unlike the clerk's office that manages money on elections, because we do not get a revenue from elections.
Oh, see, so since you generate money, everything you said, it makes it okay.
Generating the money covers her wages, and your complaint was that she was overpaid and out of budget.
The issue with the answer, the email, that you're and you said it, or is that? Make it okay. Is that
well, if you deem a direct email as bullying, that's how you feel.
The email.
The emails, I am going to bully you to do what I want to do.
Anybody reading that email will see.
Just inference of how you feel and how you took the email. There's no evilness out of Dee. She's actually a Christian.
Let me clarify this. When I put emails on my pay stub or my paycheck or time card, the majority of the emails I send are to the public or to attorneys or to board members. So, Dave is just digging right now. Can we just do the budget? Good Lord.
Mr. Chair, she needs to be quiet.
I'm really happy right now that we can't hear you. It's all bubbly, so it's perfect.
The area, I need the arrangement. Board member.
What are you insinuating, Dave?
You insinuating.
We even need to air this one.
Going.
C.
You don't need one.
C.
A job.
C is still training you. And
He collects.
with D and Joanne in the office going through the together, you're sitting there on your phone and
No,
you do.
Jim, first of all, this is the budget meeting. Second of all, I'm a deputy. I work for the treasurer. He doesn't get to tell me what I do and don't do.
Exactly.
Can we move on?
Dude.
Like Randy's prepared to budget for us.
Yes.
Jim has met with her, and gone over it. I believe Michelle has. Well, I recommend that we simply approve what she has prepared and take in my notes.
Yeah.
And
That
no accountant, neither. Some makes sense to me, some do. So I have to agree with what the clerk recommends.
what we tried to do, okay, is come up with a workable budget that we could amend. And we can amend every single meeting we have. Choose to.
Again, I think the first thing that I don't understand it. I fix things wrong. You know, they don't.
Believe me, it's not my greatest strength either. I fully admit it's not my strength either. I'm trying to understand it. I got a lot of work. I mean, days of work.
So. Here that we can put in our regular meeting. You agree with this? And there's detailed data reports for all our input. I think that with any of our input, I think for you to be as simple would be. I think we're kind of getting on track here, and this isn't easy without Christine. It's not. It's not. It's going to things that we could ask questions about numbers, and the new software isn't like old software. It's not line for line.
Right, they had changed some of the.
Have to. It's a planning commission administrator.
If you look back to last year's, okay, on zoning, it says all those three things. They're not gonna line up exactly because they've been changed.
Right.
You know, we go from a QuickBooks system with the clerk and the treasurer having separate sets and combine it in when we transferred to BSNA. Some of those descriptions of those line items changed. For example, zoning combined with ZBA and
That's because they're state general ledger numbers.
Yes, yes,
Laws in the actual general ledger number.
that is correct. That's what they're attempting to do. It still isn't 100% right, but they're trying, you know, it takes time. Well,
I mean,
mhm.
And it needs to be broken down.
This is actually more simplified, believe it or not.
Need to be more transparent
Well,
for people.
again, though, you're not gonna get individual lines completely. There's breakdowns within these. And we're trying to create a budget that balances our department.
Each of these general ledger numbers are state required that we adhere with. And that is what Plant Moran has done. And I have worked closely with Plant Moran within the state of Michigan as the treasurer of the township and have worked directly with them on these issues. And it has required hours and hours and hours of time. But the state regulation for municipalities and townships, these are the general ledgers that are required with the state. We can surely provide one of those little PDF forms that break down the proposed pay roll to those individuals under zoning. And would that be sufficient for people? Because it also has other professional services. So I'm, let me look for mark the other professional services. So we could take those monies and maybe on a PDF break down what those individual costs roughly are. But passing this budget, according to Plant Moran, and again, I've worked with them closely, almost weekly, these should be amended every month. And we have, I know for the treasurer's office, we have not done amendments, and I gave at the beginning of our budget meeting, specifically where we had a laptop breakdown during collecting taxes. And that laptop is hooked to a scanner with the bank so that we can take funds remotely that go into those computers. And we also had some education that would be amended at a higher rate, because I think in the original budget, it was only a few dollars for education. And we did not anticipate a computer breaking. I did pay out of pocket and submitted for a reimbursement to have the one fixed. And I've also stated that you guys are welcome to utilize that at your new office, as far as being able to allow taxpayers to be able to come in and log on to a laptop and be able to navigate to get their tax amounts or to be able to pay.
I would just point out that I'm currently providing that service for people usually.
Yes.
So,
So I am perfectly at this point, I am fine with approving this budget, and under the guise that monthly we are going to readdress these amounts of money and amend the budget each month, because we are going to have things that come up that are going to go over budget, or we're going to have additional revenue as contracts with like Great Lakes, with NWISD, as those contracts are fine-tuned and we have revenue coming in. So those would be amended revenues and amended expenses.
yep, and just to add on that, if you look, for the most part, it's not in every case, but for the most part, if you look where we're projecting, where the budget numbers are in the 26, 27 finance column, they're not, and some of them will vary because of some of the accounts being combined and changed, for example, zoning, okay? But for the most part here, we're not far off from where we were this past year. Or that's, yeah.
But then again, it wasn't okay with that. Here.
When you're saying you weren't okay with that.
At the time,
Mhm. Are you specifically talking about zoning? Mhm.
so. It can't be. Oh, it was just a year ago, but it's still murky in here. What each department is, and how we are these numbers, because gives the potential look that in past, even though an individual budget for the individual employee has come over budget. So, and having it broken down, it eliminates that possibility. Or it doesn't eliminate the possibility, but it makes it transparent after that happens. So, you already said what you did. What needs to be done, Michelle, that chief, that would need to be done.
Mhm.
But right now, you can hear it. So the three of you can vote the way you want to. And I vote the way I want to.
Mhm.
But this is not what. This is, I understand, don't. This is not. For me, to put me in a situation of trustee. To do with the benefit of the people in the township. I don't even, how can I vote against me? I just can't. Okay.
Well, what is it that you don't understand? And maybe we can figure out something.
Yeah, all this into one number. Without knowing what individual part goes into each.
Can you expound on that?
At the time, I mean, can you have, can you go back and you put together what's paid for a certain amount here, and if there's other parts, like ZBA, which is being listed here. I don't be part of.
Mhm.
And
What does the,
could you put it all together right now and tell me the individual amounts? Could people these amounts are
Jim, what does ZBA stand for?
Yes.
Thank you.
And what in the park, you know, the parks was
21 something.
Yelping. And so salary is on her clerk, 38,000. So I mean,
Yeah, but that includes her deputy.
does that include, and something else I was curious about and the clerk. Are elections included in that too?
Elections are broken out separately.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
It had $10,000.
Elections is at the top of page 3.
And we have no, so those are expenses to the township.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I personally, I think it's kind of broken down good. I will say this, it's different than what we've had, but that's because of the BSNA switch.
That's because it's under all the GL numbers. The one we passed for the current budget was just a PDF.
Is that just the
They're,
total?
they're literally black is positive, negative is red.
Cost?
Yes.
Well,
GL numbers are the GL numbers. They're state mandated. Like we can't just suddenly create more GL numbers.
What?
Everything just disappeared.
I think it's just you and I.
I think so. Whoever was the other Clearwater that was on there disappeared, and that's what is gone. So I don't.
Yep. I don't know. We hang out and see if they come back.
Right. If they even know they're gone.
Okay, I'll text Michelle.
Sounds like Dave has a agenda with John, though.
Yeah, there is. I know for sure. And me.
I don't think he likes much of anything.
No. I'm going to text Michelle here. You still there, Doug?
I'm here.
The computer died.
Are they
So
trying to fix it, or good question?
that's a good question. Jim texted me and said the computer died, so I don't know. I can't hear half of what they say anyway, so it's like
No,
I know.
the sound is
Yeah.
absolutely terrible today.
Well, and I think it is honestly it's not the greatest normally. We've mentioned getting microphones before and you can hear Jim fine even at the meetings though. Sometimes Michelle gets quiet and you can't understand her and we need microphones.
Need to do something, because not being able to hear everything that Dave had to say hurts.
Well, it does because it was getting personal and it was getting personal for me and Michelle, so I would like to know what he was implying.
Well,
But
if he has an agenda and he's griping about something, he should at least do a full documentation of it rather than just doing it in a meeting like this.
well, I'll tell you between you and me, and it's public knowledge, but prior to this board, and John was there, he had a problem with the other zoning person um, that got him about some chickens. His neighbor had chickens or something, and so he was mad. And he got very violent and nasty, and then his whole goal was to get rid of John and the zoning. So that's his personal agenda now.
That's why he has the nickname Chicken Man.
That is it.
I've heard the story.
Okay. Yeah. So that's his agenda. And I think that, I don't know. I think that's a conflict of interest, to be honest, but whatever.
Yeah, this isn't the time and place for him to be doing what he's doing.
No, it's not.
I mean,
And
if he has these thoughts, he should at least be putting them together.
coherently,
Do some sort of documentation. This just doesn't make sense.
yeah. No, he tried bringing some in, but he fell short. He personally has threatened John too. So it's been interesting, but
I don't think that's too smart on his part to threaten John. He's a little bit different size.
yeah. Yeah. Well, this is being recorded too. So they're probably coming back to it. I would almost recommend leaving and then coming back. I think they're going to try to get it going again.
I'm going to leave again and then come back. Anybody there? Are you there?
I am. I think it's weird that it's still recording, but they're not on.
A little strange.
And I show you as being on 3 times.
That's because I did what you said and I kept
Oh,
locking back on. It was with
jeez.
me.
What a mess.
I'm going to log off again.
I don't think they're coming back on.
I don't think so either, but I'm going to hang out for a bit just for the hell of it.
Me too. What else is there to do on a Saturday?
I have quite a bit to do, but can you text Michelle and see or Jim if they say anything?
I have. They haven't responded. They're still probably in a very heated debate. I've got no message from either one of them back. I'll try Bobby.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me, Doug?
I can hear you now, Jim, but I can't see you.
Okay. Let's see if I can get the video going here. There we go. This should work. Well, there we go.
There you go. Thank
All
you,
right.
Jim.
Yep. I'm thinking that let's see. We're going to go to the owl. Okay, there we go.
That is perfect.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, yep. Sorry for that. Our battery went dead on the zoning, or excuse me, the office administrator computer, so I apologize for that. All right, let me just quickly. Okay, so getting back to where we were, I guess, and I'm open for any more further discussion. We do have a rental coming in at noon, so we do have to wrap things up a little bit here, but I will, and again, based on the recommendation from both Plant Moran, our township clerk, I'm going to make a motion that we approve this budget with the full knowledge that we can amend it at every single meeting. I think there will be much amending needed until we get these GL numbers and departments labeled better and to what they're including. But I would say that this is, in its current state, it is a balanced budget, and it leaves us with a end fund balance at current levels with $46,815.
I'll second the motion.
I'm going to go ahead and take a roll call vote. Michelle Jackson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Bob Underhill?
With comment, I think if everything was line item and the numbers came out the same or near the same, we're gonna have to make amendments on the budget as we go, as with anything in life, home, anything, we're gonna have to make amendments on that, so. And again, the clerk said this is tentative, so, yes.
And Dave Cost?
No.
And Jim Lefew? Yes. All right, well, in its current state, it is workable. And I fully expect it to be amended and corrected. But it is operational. I do have a couple of very minor things. At our last meeting, I let everybody know that I applied for the grant for the rubber mulch reimbursement of up to $5,000. And one of the things that is required on that grant application is a resolution allowing the board to apply for the grant. I'm pretty sure this has been done a couple times, but maybe in a vote.
Are you talking about today?
Yes.
You can't do that.
Well,
MCL 41.72
Mhm.
says that we can't do that.
can't do extra stuff. Mhm. All right, well, then we'll,
We'll be prepared for our
yep.
next general
I
meeting.
think March 14th is the cutoff date, so we'll probably not get that in time.
Unless we have a special, because that's money that's coming to
Mhm.
us.
The only other thing, and I don't have to do it right now, and that was just to approve the pricing on GFL per yard for the township cleanup. That was the only other thing I had.
So in a special, we can't do anything extra unless listed on the agenda.
Correct.
I did actually
Listed.
put it on this agenda, but again, it was, when it was posted, it was not. So I would agree with you that we can't do, shady stuff, and I don't want to do shady stuff, so I'm gonna just, yeah. But I do honestly believe that cutoff date is March 14th for getting that in, so maybe have to have another special meeting. All right,
Let's, well, you want to end, I was gonna say, tell me what's our next.
I think we have discussed it multiple times. I mean, it's not something that and it's just a technicality. It's just a thing saying, literally, I can read it, it takes about 2 seconds. Clearwater Township Board wishes to apply for a risk reduction grant through the Michigan Township Participating Plan to assist in purchasing, funding rubber mulch, fall protection material for the Heritage Park Athletic Complex playground equipment, and whereas the Clearwater Township Board is seeking a grant of $5,000, now therefore be it resolved that the Clearwater Township Board supports submittal of an application to the Michigan Township Participating Plan for a $5,000 grant to assist in funding the purchase of rubber mulch fall protection.
So, what's the deadline on that?
March 14th.
And you don't have anything between now and March 14th as far as meetings?
No, sir.
So.
This isn't spending any money. We have no requirement for any co-pays or anything like that. This is just a formal recognition that we are interested in applying for this grant.
I'm just asking, I'm
And-
not suggesting that we violate the law.
Mhm.
So with that being said.
I think it clearly falls under budget too, because this is money we're going to be applying to our budget.
If you guys want to vote on it, go ahead. I'm not going to violate the law. And I'm going to see how 41.72 states, what it states, the township shall not transact business at a special meeting unless the business was stated in the notice of the meeting.
And it wasn't. So I'm
It was.
like I say, I'm
Okay,
not
no.
trying to do something shady here.
It
It's,
wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was not.
Yep.
Okay, so.
I think we cover our own butts, maybe.
now originally when I,
Do a special meeting next weekend.
Yeah,
Because I would like to see money coming in for Heritage Park rather than hemorrhaging normally to Heritage.
now originally when I sent this grant in, it said that
So it's a continuation of something that's already.
yes, in our October 16th, 2025 minutes, this is what I sent in. I've even highlighted it here. Motion by Lefevue.
Yeah, right here, line 4 of this MCL. The board shall not transact business at a special meeting unless the business was stated in the notice of the meeting. However, if all members of the board are present,
Which Christine's not here.
Right.
at a special meeting, business that may lawfully become before a regular meeting of the board may be transacted in a special meeting.
So since Christine's can't, there was a little loophole there, but since she's not here, we can't do it.
But it was already approved in.
I was just gonna say that-
2025 meeting, this is just the resolution to submit it to get reimbursement. If we have to do a special meeting, we have 7 days, we could do it next weekend. I'm available Saturday.
Okay,
And we can get it back.
let me just reference this one more time here. October 16th minutes, this past October. Motion by Lefeview, seconded by Johnson, who wasn't here, but to approve purchase of rubber mulch for Heritage Park Playground from RMP in the amount of $5,000 to be paid from the Public Improvement Fund. We don't even have a Public Improvement Fund. I don't think that was combined. So, I mean, we have dished out this money. It's already been expended. This is just a technicality to get reimbursed.
Let's do it next Saturday.
We'll have to just do it next Saturday. Because I don't want to do shady stuff, so that's fine. And we can approve that GFL amount then too.
Is that the two things that'll be on the Saturday agenda?
Well, if we're gonna make the meeting date today, we gotta look and see if the calendar is available and, all that.
Also,
Um,
like to know, Christine's available, so what date are you proposing?
well,
When you find it, I will see if she will answer.
mhm. So just a note to everybody, got about 1.5 hour use of battery out of that other computer. So we got to either make sure we have a power supply here if that one is used in the future, or we have to get a different battery for it.
I don't see anything for Little Orchard Schoolhouse.
Okay, this would be,
Sorry to interrupt, you said the March 14th was the deadline?
I believe March 14th. Yeah, I can look that email up, I suppose, and get her exact. Okay.
Well, next Saturday would be the 7th. My calendar is open.
Okay, let me. Okay, here's the guidelines. I will verify this date. They literally have two windows that they. Okay, it's March 15th. Spring cycle is February 1st through March 15th. Fall cycle is August 1st through September 15th. So we have until March 15th. And again, this is the last thing for it. So it would be
And it was
simple
only approved
email.
in October of 2025.
Yes. Well, that's when we approved the purchase.
Mhm.
The grant cycle didn't open up until February.
Yeah, I'm available next Saturday morning.
Okay, and there is nothing in the township, in the building here. Okay, so that'd be March 7th.
9 a.m.
Have you been able to contact Christine?
I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
Just finishing.
I will say this, that on the March 7th meeting, that may be another opportunity for us to set our salaries and pay schedule.
We might as well make a meeting out because.
That's what I was gonna say.
Those two, the GFL and the mulch resolution.
Yes.
Take us 10 minutes, it'll take us longer to start. And
Okay, so our salaries, and what else?
The grant approval for the mulch and also the GFL cost per yard for our cleanup day.
And that mulch, is that the rubber mulch?
Yes,
we get reimbursed.
yeah, our insurance company, when I talked to them when we were doing our risk evaluation or risk assessment, I told him, we still needed to put the material down below there. And that's when he suggested to me to fill out the grant application because that is one of the things on the list. And It's all done except for that. Again, I thought that the vote and the motion that we took in our October meeting, that's what I submitted, thinking that would be enough, but they say it has to be done in a specific language, which is what
Well,
I
anytime
just
you
read
get a
to.
grant,
Yeah.
their hoops get really small when you get to them.
What time did you propose for the 7th?
I haven't. I'm up for what, 9 o'clock?
9 a.m. works for me.
Anything on the weekend.
Okay.
9 a.m.?
Yep. Is that agreeable, Christine?
Right now, she's okay with that.
Okay.
Well, let me. She did say, prior to this last question, I think I can do that, nothing on my calendar right now for 3/7. Just trying to get her to commit to 9 a.m. I know she's not a morning person.
Well,
Is the Clearwater Schoolhouse being used for?
no, I checked it. It's good.
Okay.
9 o'clock is good. It's good all day. There's nothing rented on the side.
Okay, so we can do it anytime.
And Doug, I'm gonna try to get a agenda posted for that meeting, just so.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, do we want to make a motion to schedule that meeting yet?
And
I
wait
make
for
a
her to
motion.
respond.
Just schedule it.
I'll make a second.
If we give it another minute, she may respond with a okay for the 9 a.m.
Okay. We are all in agreement that that would work, that?
Yep.
I suppose I should look on my schedule.
She is at some other meeting somewhere else.
Yeah, she's in Indian River right now.
you know. So I don't even see that she has read. She did agree in general for Saturday,
Mhm.
but not that time.
Maybe
So
I'll-
we,
Let me
if
just,
it's a special meeting and we have it on our agenda, we can vote on it whether she comes or not, so.
Yeah, but we need her, it's best if all 5 of us are here, especially with
But
her
if not,
understanding of
you
everything.
know, we can still vote on it on Saturday.
Yeah, it's best to just wait a couple minutes and get it straight up first instead of doing something again where we don't have her here.
I think she was on the owl.
no, she wasn't.
Yeah, she logged in for a minute.
How much time do you think we'll need for this meeting?
I'm sorry.
How much time do you think we'll, over 2 hours?
You know, depends on what we want to add to it. What it looks like now, pay schedules may be enough to fill up a meeting, I would think.
All right,
You know,
should we-
10,
should we just-
15 minutes per person or per position.
Should we just go 10 a.m.?
I'm okay, 10 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever you want.
I have it for 9.
prefer 9?
10 and over, because our meetings tend to last more than 2 hours.
I'm good with 9 a.m. I just called her and she wouldn't answer, so she must be doing
Yeah,
something.
I'm pushing her for response here. She read this 5 minutes ago.
Just a couple of words on this budget that we just passed. I realize this isn't a perfect thing here. I think it does represent, kind of, she said that's okay, 9
She's
o'clock?
good for 9 a.m.
Okay. All right, well then we have 2 votes left, Bob Underhill
Yes.
and Dave Koss.
Yes.
Okay. So that motion carries. That's not additional business that we can do. Schedule an
And then the
appointment.
next one on our agenda, the GFL, that one, we're gonna move to the next meeting.
Yep, that's on the March 7th meeting, GFL, the grant application and pay schedules for our employees and elected
Then we
officials.
should be to closing public comment.
That's where we're at.
Okay, you guys got a box for whoever's going first.
I'll slap.
You gotta go, all right,
Up to
here.
3 minutes apiece.
Listen, I respect you, and you, and you. This man said this budget is $29,000. I thought it was 20. He was right.
Mhm.
It was not amended. It was
What?
not amended to 29, it was combined. That's the confusion. Now, how he feels about John West is irrelevant. He said that. He didn't particularly make any accusations against John West. He's my friend. So I know you, Jim, have done above and beyond the call of duty for your service to this community. You stepped up for Park and Recs. You don't get paid for it. The other night,
I
We had a
didn't
little-
pay for it,
well, you don't get paid. You're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's doing a good thing. Michelle, with the help of Dee, however anybody feels about Dee, getting the job done. 1, collect taxes. 2, run fair and straight elections. 3, develop a budget for the township. Those are your fiduciary duties. What happens in Park and Recs? Hey, if you can get a grant for the rubber, who's gonna say that Jim ever did something stupid? $100 grand for a jungle gym down there, that was stupid. So he's more procedural. I respect that, we need that. Working together, what he could teach you, you could teach him. You're doing a great job. No one here, frugal, not wasting our money. No more $100,000 jungle gyms are gonna be wasted under this administration. But who comes behind you? Everyone here is highly respectful, honest, straight up. So if he has a question about what John does, I've said it to Dave. I said, what does John do with it all day? I don't know. I trust you. You're working with him. Obviously, how could you? This is setting up something that needs to be amended when your job is to create a budget for the township. Some people never have to be amended. Some people are such pencil pushers and they get them numbers exact. Where does that rely on? So the faith and the trust I see here, you as supervisor, I get more done going in your office every day. I sit there and we talk, right? Come
Sure.
up with things, what we're gonna do. Okay. I can save you the trouble of having to interfere in any meetings. I respect what you said to me the other night, Frank, about keeping the public comment. You wanted to get home, you didn't want to sit here and make any extra money.
Well,
because the
it's
meeting-
our agenda rules.
Right, I
Follow
get that,
agenda.
but what, and I respect that.
This is his time.
So knowing what the people want in the township, as long as you're always doing the right thing, whether everybody agrees it's right, you're the supervisor. There's a lot of power in that. You're a trustee, a lot of power in that. Remember when we were talking about somebody in this community and we were gonna go down? Remember that night? I looked at you and said, Bob, you're a trustee. You use your power as a trustee. I think you're becoming a good politician, and that's important. Everybody here has to learn better politics, and you were totally right. Not take the personality out of Dee, take the personality out of John. He was told that this was amended, and then he says, oh, I don't remember amending that. I never voted to amend that. For lack of a better word, it's combined. So now, you know what I mean? I see his concern for transparency.
It
Now,
always,
how you do your business, as long as it gets done. Taxes, have a pretty good year. If you need these help, I don't know who comes up with $23 an hour, $21 an hour for what services provided by local people. All I know is Gordy out there every day doing maintenance. If he's making less than an office girl, I'm not gonna say the office girl is overpaid. I might look at it like he's underpaid. So everybody's, I respect you, you're always looking for the worker, and that's a wonderful thing. I don't know how many workers we have under our employment.
6.
6. So a payroll company to handle that, I mean, I'm sure if you talk to Ron Bargy up in Kuwait, and he's been a supervisor there for what, 20-something years. I'll bet you he can kind of do payroll real well without a third party. But if that burden is too heavy for Christine or anybody else, now you gotta approve who's the third party, who's gonna do our payroll. All I know is a lot of guys run businesses with 6 people and get them paid pretty quick, get time sheets. I would wanna know everything you're doing. So I don't think it's a personal attack on people, even though it might have come off that way because you know personal feelings. I don't know who likes who, who likes that. All I know is people that are sitting in front of me, I have full faith and trust in. And I think you went overboard. You went overboard.
thank you. Dave, got anything real quick? Before we-
I agree with what you guys are trying to accomplish. What a mess you guys inherited.
That's the truth right there.
Cluster. Going back to Plant Moran, they're top notch. You know, all kinds of people that have used them over the years. We get them reimbursed from the state, that's great. I feel we should take advantage of that and get in charge of this line item clarification, like it's been discussed here. Very important, and if that would have been done, would have cut an hour out of this meeting. Okay. And then and combine that with BSA, which she said there's growing pains. She's mentioned a few times. We're getting it to the end of those growing pains. So that's a great thing. Township, a description for the township employees, committees, whatever. I think that you guys as a board should address that and come up with some designation of what is going on, again, with save this township money and time, and you guys' time. It wouldn't be talking about a lot of this stuff.
Phase 3, the Plant Moran.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's already approved by the state too.
Yeah, so
yep.
you've got so many positive things going on. Let's move forward and grab those things a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to say you're not doing it, but let's get married up with them more and get these things clarified. I think it'll help everybody out. Amended monthly, great idea. It should be done that way.
Yep.
Yes. Third party payroll may not work. Certainly need to look at that again for time and clarity. Probably would be a good thing. Don't know. Let's see. $40,000 we owe the IRS. Come on. Should be addressed.
Yeah.
Should be looked at. Why, what, and how, and don't do it again. That's and I'll shut up with this. As far as pre-meeting discussions and information, I want to incorporate that into the Parks and Rec so that we can have more direct and meaningful meetings. So I think that may be set a week or whatever. I know there's exceptions, but get that information to all you. And again, it'll save a lot of time today for the next meeting to get. Yeah, I want to do the same thing with Parks and Rec. I mean, I'm here because I
believe in you guys too, and I believe in this township, and we got a lot of opportunities. I get feedback from different people, and we have things going on here, folks. There's a lot of interest in Clearwater Township. And then the owl, Joanne says she can't hear in the meetings. Well, whether
We're gonna have
she
to
needs
work on
sit
that.
up in the front more, or let's look at the owl. May have to get two setups for the owl. Let's look at updating that, and then a power source, so you don't have to, again, spend 5 or 10 minutes messing with that.
Sure.
And then we're offline for a while. Doesn't sit well with the public. So let's address that too. And you know, yeah, just, that's it. I got more. I got a big mouth.
I have a
Yep.
small public comment.
One second, I have Doug online here. Doug, did you have anything you wanted to share here before we wrap it up?
No, thank you very much. All covered.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the good
Appreciate
meeting.
you being, yep. Yes, sir.
I think this isn't super easy for me to say. So as a board member, I think with having such a diverse board and different mindsets, I think there's gonna be bicker and back and forth. Because we don't always have to agree on every thing, but I think it will help open up our minds to watch out for everything as a whole board.
Mhm.
By not, we experienced it today.
Yep.
By that, and it's not easy to sit on a board being in. I'm very neutral and open to a lot of new ideas and different ways of doing things. Just me as myself.
I have one thing to add to that, since we're in public comment, and that is that this isn't personal. You know,
We're on a board together.
we're on a board together. We're going to have disagreements. If we
Yeah.
didn't, it would be a pretty boring thing.
Well, and I don't think it would be beneficial to our township if we were all on exactly the same page.
That's true. There's many
and-
opinions out there.
There is, and we have to remember that we are representing the community members in our township and trying to do our best for what betters them.
I agree. You guys are working hard. What am I?
It's not easy.
No.
It's there's things I'm gonna disagree with all the other 4 board members on, and there's things that I'm gonna wholeheartedly agree with 1 or 2, or and ideas and things we have to vote on, and there's things that may not feel better in my heart, but I think it will better for the community. So it's really not an easy position to vote on some of this stuff as a board member, because it may not go where my heart sits, but it may go for betterment of the community. So it's there's a lot more to it than I expected, to be really honest, as being an elected board member.
We have some big challenges out there. I know, and I know Doug is involved with this too. And short-term rentals, we're going to have to at some point, establish what kind of system we want to move into, and there'll be public hearings and that. But I can't imagine that we're going to be making everybody happy, because it's not that easy.
Well, I have a comment on that real quick. Until you have an enforcement agreement with the local sheriff's department for the bare necessities of the safety of this community, the audacity to be spending taxpayer money to a lawyer on an ordinance that they're not required to enforce is utterly ridiculous to me.
We need some law enforcement.
Man, ain't the right time, ain't the place. We don't even have a cop here. We don't even have cops. We don't even have an agreement. As good as it may be for the community, or as bad for the community, the audacity to be spending money on a lawyer to try to craftily come up with short-term rental,
Yep.
And even though you've had plenty of public meetings on it.
Yep.
If you can't enforce the law in your backyard, you're not going to enforce ordinances.
Any last comments from our treasurer?
No, sir.
All right, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
I'll third it.
Thank you all very much.
I really mean that, you guys. What a mess you guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice.